Okay. Yeah, then let's go back to
I don't want y'all to judge me. Like, honestly, I can actually walk. We'll just do it.
Well, let Dr. Creek.
Remarkably, post-op day 1, I didn't sleep a ton last night because they were giving me my meds on a schedule. And they, I remember yesterday they gave me Neurontin, Tylenol, and Flexeril pre-op. And they did the Medtronic 3D CT machine to help place for, proper screw placement. So I didn't get back up to the inpatient floor till about 9 p.m. And so I got up here, got settled in, I was having a really bad back spasm kind of on my iliac crest on both sides. So I had a really bad spasm. It went all the way up to my rib cage, which is one of my original problems. But I had zero bony pain. So in the midline, no incision pain. I can't really even tell that I've had an excision, and I slept on it all night. I've got this stuffed in my pocket. So the drain, I've been walking around with that because I can walk without a walker. But it's draining blood under mild suction. Because anytime you have fluid under the skin, you're at risk for an abscess or infection. And so last night, actually around midnight, I did a walk with the walker around the nurse's station. This morning I did double the amount of walking with the walker, and I did that twice. So I have zero bone pain standing up. And then when I stand up, the spasm goes away. My left calf is already 50% better. The one that had the prickly paresthesia. Paresthesia is just a fancy word for numbness in I have to look up the dermatomes, but. So when your neurologist or your orthospine or neurosurgeon does an exam or really just talks to you and finds out where your numbness is specifically, if you're looking for numbness, they call that a dermatome, and that helps them predict where they think they're going to see their abnormality on your MRI scan. So if you have a problem at the disc at L5, then if you look on this chart here, they're going to predict that you're going to have numbness on the outside part of your calf, which the outside is the lateral part, the inside is the medial part. So this is just a tool, and that's why they ask you these questions about numbness and pain, because they can predict even before they get their MRI where your abnormality is. My medial calf is already 50% better, but that was the newest one. That didn't go numb until January of this year. My right toes, the second and third toe, is, I can feel it. I've got socks on, but I can raise all of my toes. As of right now, I made the right decision. So if you're struggling with this, know that it can be done. But I was able to sleep last night. That's amazing. All right, we'll follow up.
All right, so we are 24 hours roughly post-op. You're sitting in this chair. Why?
Because it's more comfortable than what I call my natural habitat, this little sofa with the lounge. It's hard really for me to scoot all the way back on that one. This chair, armrest on it, or make it easy to get down and get up. Mm-hmm. But I'm still like, this is not a solution. What I think I'm gonna have them do is go get one of the electric lift chairs. It's a recliner too. It's not 100% zero grav, but it's close. There's a 100% really nice zero grav that I like at one of the furniture stores locally, but it's like almost $2,000. I'm not sure I want to buy that, even though I think I could sell it on Facebook Marketplace. So the piece of equipment that I don't have gonna be the chair, because I think it will be a few weeks before I can get back in my natural habitat. So I got this through the hospital, added the tennis balls on it. But I have not really used it so far. I did use it in the hospital because I felt a little dizzy after they gave me the Percocet and Flexeril. And I only did it because I'm like, well, I don't want to get so dizzy that I fall down. I'll take it just in case. It may help me periodically. This ice pack is wonderful. This magic gel, it just Velcros on, and it has 2 of these gel packs. The toilet seat, holy cow, that was perfect.
Yeah.
It was I put it together in 5 minutes. Yeah, that toilet seat for sure, the ice pack for sure. The jury's out on whether or not I need the walker. The 2 comments my family said was, I stand up straight and I don't walk with a limp now.
That's just 24 hours after the surgery too, and you're still sore and beat up. Something
that I forget that I have is this drain still in my back. They had to do mine open because this was a chronic degenerative pars defect. I've had it for years, at least since in my 20s, and I'm 59 now. This is my suction drain, like a very low suction drain. Definitely slowing down. This goes into my back, and Thursday, the orthopedic spine doc told me to go ahead and pull the drain out Thursday because it's just held in by 1 stitch. So I kind of keep a pair of warm-up pants on, and I just keep that in my pocket. And then try, if you can, I rolled up the excess and stick it in my pocket because I did not do that on the sofa couch. It ended up pulling out the tubing from the little suction device, and I got a couple of drops of blood on the floor, but thankfully I didn't get it on the sofa. They gave me another stool softener.
You were able to stand up essentially right away, because remember you moved from the OR bed to the patient bed. You stood up and he said, "Oh, thank God I'm not paralyzed." I forgot about that. And then you laid down. We kind of talked about some of the sensation in your foot and calf. So what was like your initial thoughts on that?
I felt like, my left medial calf, if I just touched the skin lightly, it was what I would call a prickly paresthesia, which I've said it before in a different video, that paresthesia is the fancy word for numbness. It felt like stinging nettles on my skin surface, like not deep. That's 100% gone. So now I can actually touch it. I feel like the paresthesia, the numbness, is about 50% less. With my right toe last night, my second and third toe, which correlates to the dermatome, I think that's L5. It still is numb, but what I've noticed is I can like dorsiflex my toes, so I can lift my toes up off the ground and they feel stronger. I can feel them.
Yeah.
Right, scooting it across the floor.
Yeah.
So I can feel them. I can feel the texture of the wood on them now.
Yeah.
So I think that's 50% improved as well. I have just fleeting right hip pain, whereas it used to wake me up and I'd have to flip over.
Yeah.
I just slept for 2 or 3 hours, didn't flip over. I was on my back the entire time and didn't have to flip because my leg was numb.
Sweet. So that was kind of an hour post. You were back into the patient room at like 8 or 9, and then I left 1 o'clock in the morning or midnight, something like that.
Yeah.
And at that point, you had just gotten up and done a short walk with the nurse.
Yeah, I did 1 loop.
First one was that short one where we just went out to the right and right back. And then you woke up a few hours later and did it.
I did that entire loop.
It's probably 100 yards total.
It may have been. No, that one was not. Okay. That was probably 50. The one I did at 1 o'clock with the night nurse, I went halfway. I went to the nurse's station and they have a cut through there.
Yeah.
And then this morning I went 1 time by myself, did and the only reason I cut that short after 1 of the big loops because I was worried that I was going to get dizzy from the dilaudid. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't want to fall down. So I went back, and then when physical therapy came, I did 2 laps without the walker with the physical therapist.
And then you've been walking through the house without any assistance too.
And then my hemoglobin went from 14 or 15 to 10. So I had, a good deal of blood loss. Yeah. I was not tachycardic. I was a little hypotensive. My blood pressure was a tad low.
Yeah.
After you left.
And then what are your thoughts looking forward? Let's say within the next week, like how are you feeling? Optimistic, pessimistic, any short-term goals?
Well, I think I've already exceeded my best case scenario.
Cool.
So my video is like Big Wonka. I think that's the guy. If you type in, I'll try to link it too. But I saw his video before this on YouTube. And so far, I'm having his kind of story, which is the best case scenario. I'm very optimistic, I would say. But I think I'm going to be sore like this. Like you said, how many days did you say your prediction?
I was thinking tomorrow, so the next 3 days are probably going to be the worst. If you just think of it like, because basically you had a bunch of muscle breakdown, so it's basically like you hit the gym harder than
like
you've ever hit.
A little rhabdo.
Yeah, so you're basically going to have that like delayed onset muscle soreness, but worse because it was just a dude digging around. So I'm thinking the next 3 days are going to be the worst, just as far as muscle pain goes. And then you'll be.
I think you're right. One of the YouTube videoers on Fusion, he said the first 3 days were miserable, and then starting the fourth day, he could tell he was healing. Yeah. My surgeon, just now, just for the first time, felt an ache in my hip. Yeah, I've been sitting here for a while. I think that my misery time's going to be longer because it was open. They couldn't do it minimally invasive. I was going to mention that they did not use a Da Vinci robot. They used a machine called the Medtronic 3D CT scan for screw placement. They did do neuro monitoring. It was not just my legs and sensation below. They did arms just to make sure that you're in the correct position and you're not, doing a nerve compression and waking up with a dead arm. Nice. So I had a neuro monitoring tech that came up and did all that, and then they had a neurologist that is virtual in the room monitoring all the neurologic electrical data that they're getting.
Do you know what anesthesia they gave you?
They did TIVA, total IV.
And you were intubated, and you had a Foley.
Intubated, Foley.
Have you had a bowel movement yet?
Not yet. I feel one brewing though.
Maybe coffee tomorrow will help.
Yeah, if I get really good, I'll probably need to do at least 20 ounces of Wanda coffee.
You probably didn't sleep much last night, so tonight will be like your first big rest.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
My suspicion is that tomorrow you'll be sore, but it'd be great if you weren't. Any closing comments, things we didn't cover?
Like and subscribe. Make comments.